Um, let's talk about, you were stabbed 13 times?
Yeah, no, 13 times. Lucky number.
When was this?
That was in 1994. I was in the Marine Corps, home on leave.
Yeah.
I witnessed 2 cops beating a handcuffed man in the parking lot of a McDonald's.
Who was that individual?
That was Phil Inkle. I didn't know him at the time.
All right. And why was Phil Inkle being beaten? Was it the Colchester McDonald's?
Colchester McDonald's, yeah.
Yeah.
These were 2 resident constables. Same as cops. They call them constables there. They, he was screaming for help. Somebody help me. Somebody help me. They're just beating on him, you know.
Yeah.
He was sitting on the ground, has his legs crossed, Indian style. They're beating him.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, what is this? You know, I've never seen anything like this. I grew up in the city and I never saw anything like that, okay?
Yeah.
And I went home that night and I told my father, who was a cop at the time, I said, Dad, this is what I saw at the McDonald's.
Yeah.
I feel uncomfortable about it. What do you think I should do? He says, well, what do you want to do? I said, I don't know. I need to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
I was only 19, you know. I spent less than a year living in that town. Didn't know anybody really.
Yeah.
Never been in trouble. And I called the state police, make a complaint. They said, well, it's good to hear there's citizens out there that care, you know. And we appreciate you calling us. We want to keep you informed and posted. What's your name? I gave him my name. You know,
and your address.
Yeah, I gave him my address, my telephone number.
Yeah.
A little while later, I don't remember exactly how many days, the cops come to my house.
Yep.
One of the cops happens to be the cop that I made a complaint against, Nardella.
Nardella.
Jimmy Nardella.
Jimmy Nardella.
James, yeah.
And Charles Scott Thomas, is that right?
Charles Scott Thomas, he didn't actually arrest me at my home. Nardella came with a state trooper.
Yes.
Okay? And the state trooper Nardella came in, they arrested me in my home.
Mm-hmm.
Then they arrested my brother at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? They arrested us on a breach of peace charge.
Uh-huh.
Some kid who was an informant said that I hit him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And I'm like, Mom, Dad, don't worry about it. I didn't do anything. I'll go with them. You know, I'll fill out a statement. And they arrested me.
Yeah.
So.
They arrest your brother too?
They said, oh, by the way, Ian, you can come with us too.
What is Ian accused of doing?
They didn't say. It was almost an afterthought.
So they arrested your brother. Did he make any complaints about police, or did he do anything?
He, as a matter of fact, come to find out. You want to stop?
No, it's okay. It's just that's fine.
Jay, hurry up, sweetie. You gotta go to bed. You know, all of this information, what I'm going to tell you now, I wasn't aware of, okay? Phil Inkle had been having problems with the police back and forth.
Yeah.
His civil rights were being violated. He was being harassed, stalked by policemen. So he was putting a list together of witnesses, okay? People who have had these kind of interactions with the police as well. And my brother's name was on that list, okay?
Uh-huh. So did the police, they tracked him down, and did they steal his paperwork?
Yes,
and
they
his
did.
file?
They did. And my brother's name was on that list.
So they took the list of people that had complaints about police?
Yeah. That had made statements with Phil.
They had confiscated the material.
Right.
And we haven't got your daughter in the footage at all.
Okay. Jade, you gotta go in the other one, sweetie.
All right. So you and Ian are arrested.
We're arrested. And we're brought to the, as a matter of fact, I rode with Nardella, Jimmy Nardella. He threw me in the front seat. And my brother, he went with the state trooper. Now, the first thing Nardella says was, he said, you should have never made a complaint, or you should have never put your nose in the business, or I can't recall, a long time ago, you know.
And you shouldn't involve yourself in a police beating. They're beating who they want when they want.
Right, pretty much. He goes, you're a Marine, man. He goes, I know you want to be a cop, you know. He says, what are you doing, you know? And I'm thinking to myself, so this is what this is about. Maybe I shouldn't have let them take me so easy, you know.
Yeah.
So we get to the police station. I'm looking out the window, and guess who's waiting, leaning up against his car just like this?
Who?
Charles Thomas. The other
Charles
cop.
Scott Thomas?
Yeah, the other cop I made a complaint against.
Was he worked at the Whiting Institute or something?
Yeah, I guess he was a security officer or some kind of a...
So he was, Charles Scott Thomas was what, allegedly beating the clients of this institution?
Yeah, he was beating the clients, right.
So they promoted him to police officer who could beat citizens?
They promoted him to police officer. From what I gather, he failed the drug test too.
Really?
Okay, so I don't know who he knows. Okay, or maybe they like that. It might be something good to put on your resume.
Yeah, I do drugs on duty.
I do drugs and I beat the crap out of innocent people.
Promote me to sergeant.
Right.
Okay, so continue.
Well, so that just confirmed the fate of my night right there when I saw Charles Scott Thomas with a big smile on his face.
So you and your brother were what, beaten mercilessly all night long?
Yeah. I didn't see what happened to my brother because I was pulled out of the cell to be interrogated in a room about not what I was being arrested for, but about what I saw that night.
Were you in handcuffs?
I was in handcuffs, yeah. In the room, they took the handcuffs off because he wanted to square down. He wanted to fight me. You know.
There were no cameras or video or audio in the interrogation.
Not that I noticed. I noticed cameras in the hallway. Okay, so
so they brought you in a room that they didn't have cameras.
That's right.
So
And that's the first thing I looked for when I got in the room. Looked for a camera. You know.
So what officer were you with?
James Nardella, and Charles Scott Thomas.
Was there a state trooper there too? Connecticut state trooper?
There was a state trooper up in the holding area. Yeah.
Who was that?
That was, I believe, Trooper Cook.
I don't know.
Yeah, Trooper Cook, who
Okay.
was really polite. I really, you know, he I guess what he did was the paperwork part.
So what officers beat you?
Charles Scott Thomas.
How did he start? Did he just start hitting you?
He, I remember he had taken his badge off. He said, well now, he says, I'm off duty, you know, or something like that. And he came right at me right away. It was like, there wasn't even a chance. I was uncuffed.
Were you beaten unconscious?
Yeah, I was being unconscious. Yeah. I was hit so many times. It was like, it felt like it was almost all over my body. You know, I was being hit. I was on my back.
Were they kicking you on the ground?
Yeah.
Okay, so then...
and he said, get up, and then I go to get up, and he hit me right back down.
So you made a police misconduct complaint?
Yeah, yeah.
Against the two Colchester officers? Did you make a complaint against the state officer as well?
I didn't make a complaint against the state trooper, no. There was a complaint made against the trooper that had beaten my brother. Yeah.
So the Connecticut State Police officer beat your brother?
Yeah.
Did they choke him unconscious where he may have actually died and then was revived?
Right. Yeah.
So has he ever been the same since?
Never. That was it. He didn't even finish high school. He was a kid when that happened.
So just because you made a complaint, they choked your brother until possibly he died.
Yeah.
He was revived, and he's
Yeah.
never been the same.
Never. No.
Okay, so you made a police misconduct complaint. What did the police officers do?
Well, the police officers, what do you mean, what they did in what sense?
No, I'm saying, did they...
They were suspended with pay, okay? This is after I had an attorney and a press conference. FMAC Buckley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They paid an informant $10,000 cash.
Yeah.
Who's that?
That was Todd Vachon.
Todd Vachon?
Yeah.
And so he went and he made a statement and he implicated the police officers in trying to pay to have you killed.
Right. Me and Phil Inkle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's paid and then he got cold feet and...
He got... Now, I'm home on Marine recruiting duty now, okay?
Yeah.
And
that was then.
And I went to my boss, my sergeant, and said, you have to go to a graduation in uniform. One of the kids from the high school is graduating. He's going to boot camp soon.
Yeah.
He said, look sharp, you know. Went up there. full dress blues, you know. And this kid Joe Drum comes up to me and goes, Steve, I got to talk to you. I said, sure, what's going on? He said, well, I don't know how to say this, but the cops, Nardella and Thomas, hired Todd Vachon to kill you. Kill you and Phil Inkle. And I thought it was a joke. I said, get out of town. He said, I'm just letting you know. All right? I said, yeah, well, thanks for telling me. And that was it. Then after that, I was able to make contact with Todd Vachon through the attorneys. And he made a statement. He said, yeah. He was told, you know, make him disappear. We'll pay for you. We'll pay for you. They had all sorts of plans. You're going to go pick up a truck down south. You're going to steal the truck and drive it up here. You're going to hit Phil Inkle.
Cops are telling somebody to steal a vehicle to kill somebody.
They're going to steal it. Todd Vachon was supposed to steal a vehicle, a truck from down south,
yeah,
drive it up here, hit Phil Inkle off his bike to kill him, pour alcohol all over the driver's wheel, etc., and then disappear. They're going to pay for him to go away. Okay, that's how they're going to do him.
Where are they get the money? Where do these police officers get the money?
Who knows? They took it right out of the bank.